Dushanbe, Tajikistan is one of the cheapest places to spend your time. However, with it being a cash-based society, is it really worth your time and energy to spend money here in Dushanbe, Tajikistan? Hello and welcome back to Traveling Reports. Today we're going over Dushanbe, Tajikistan's cost of living and how realistically it is a very inexpensive country. However, it is a country that realistically has its drawbacks as well. Now, often when I look at a country like Tajikistan and I factor in all of the potential that it has, the first thing I like to look at is whether or not it is convenient. Because for me personally, I wouldn't live in a place that isn't super convenient, albeit a lot of the places I've been to recently have not been convenient, and there are pros and cons to that. However, here in Tajikistan, what you can expect from living here is for sure a very interesting amount of lacking things to do realistically. And so you do have, for instance, meals at 55 soman, which is around about $5, $5 to $6, which is not too terrible. You additionally have places in Tajikistan that, you can get natural beauty, whatever else. So if you are looking for natural beauty and untouched nature, Tajikistan has that. And realistically, the people are very kind here. When I look into the totality of living here in Tajikistan, when I look at the totality of looking in Tajikistan, the cost of living, you're looking at around $200 a month for a single bedroom apartment here in Dushanbe. And this can be very close to center as well. Realistically, Dushanbe is not a large city to begin with. Additionally, the airport is very close to center as well. So you need to only walk about 1 kilometer to 1.5 kilometers to get from central Dushanbe to the airports. Additionally, taxis are extremely cheap. You can get a taxi starting at around 10 somon for the entire city, which is not bad. It's about $1. You have a lot of different places to eat, Korean food, whatever else. So if you enjoy Asian foods, this is a place that you can find a lot of Asian food. There isn't a ton of nightlife, whatever else. So if that's something that you enjoy, I would say that, of course, it's lacking here. However, what the total amount, I would say as well, you're only paying 2 somon for a bottle of water, maybe 5 for a Pepsi, which is about $0.50. So there's a lot of inexpensive items here in Tajikistan. Realistically, you can get a lot of different cheap items here, and I would say it's marginally cheaper than Uzbekistan. Now, I would say that Kyrgyzstan probably is going to be cheaper because you have better transport links between Kyrgyzstan and China, for instance, or Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, which makes imported products cheaper. However, overall, Tajikistan is very cheap. And additionally, if you want to buy an apartment here in Dushanbe, for instance, you're looking at maybe a few hundred to 1,200 per square meter, which is extremely cheap. It's not quite as cheap as, say, Bukhara or Samarkand, where I actually prefer, but of course this is this isn't a comparison video, so I will leave my own personal bias out of this. I will compare the two eventually. However, right now, as I'm sure you can see, I'm sick, so trying to recover. But of course, I always want to bring the best information to you all. That said, additionally, if you're looking at quality of life here, it's pretty decent actually. There are issues with roads, but you have, a decent taxi network. You have a decent bus network. Everything is kind of together. Everything is kind of there for you. So to me, it is something that, of course, I find very interesting to continue to come back and see how it develops. I don't know that I'd invest right now, as of course only 20% of payments in general are non-cash payments, which makes it extremely difficult to recommend to anyone who is, of course, using non-cash payments. And as someone who enjoys spending on credits for the reasons I put in a video down on my channel, which you can go check out if you're interested, I can't really recommend it for someone like me. There is some benefits to living here, especially if you are more family-oriented. It's a very family-oriented society. People are friendly, very friendly. There's a sense of camaraderie here, which I haven't seen in many countries. The police are very friendly. So overall, I think it's a very unique society. And of course, when I am less sick, I'll get into more of the culture and whatever else for both Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. However, if you appreciate that I continue to do work while I'm sick, appreciate that I'm keeping up the consistency for you all, I would appreciate a like. If you really like this video, feel free to share it with your friends. If you are looking to join me on this journey of internationalization and globalization, feel free to subscribe to the channel down below. If you are looking for a place to live or a place to do business, of course you can reach out on the forums link down below, and I would be more than happy to create a jurisdictional one-pager for you. Of course, that would be quoted later on. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. This has been the Traveling Report, signing off.